Madame Luísa is a globally respected leader whose career spans high-level governance, financial reform, international diplomacy, and corporate board leadership. As Mozambique's first female prime minister between 2004 and 2010, and she was formerly Minister of Planning and Finance. She's renowned for driving fiscal discipline, structural economic reform, and public sector modernization during a pivotal time in Mozambique's post-conflict development. Her tenure has marked by strategic partnerships with multilateral institutions and her stewardship of the national budget through the lens of transparency, inclusive growth, and sustainability. She positioned Mozambique as a case study in leveraging sound economic policy for poverty reduction and institutional development. In the international arena, Madame Diogo has served on numerous high-level United Nations panels. Notably, she co-chaired the UN panel on system-wide coherence and later contributed to the high-level panel on global sustainability, focusing on integrated approaches to development, climate resilience, and institutional reform. Her work consistently bridges public policy with sustainable development imperatives. She brings a formidable governance experience to the corporate sector as chair at Absa Bank in Mozambique, and she did amazing things, let me tell you, things tripled, not doubled, tripled. Where she led the strategic transformation and oversaw a sustained profitability and market growth. Her boardroom presence is marked by commitment to risk-aware leadership, ethics, gender inclusion, and stakeholder value. She also serves on the boards of Absa Group and Total Energies in Mozambique and contributes to global philanthropic efforts via the advisory board of Big Win Philosophy. I had the privilege of spending a little bit of time when we were driving to this venue, and Madame Luísa shared with me some of the work that she's doing in her own personal capacity, and that literally warrants another session, so I won't get into that. She's a staunch advocate for gender equality, and she founded the network of women ministers and parliamentarians and led several initiatives to mainstream gender in fiscal and governance frameworks. Her legacy includes championing national HIV/AIDS responses. I think, Yashmita, that would relate with you. Free reproductive health care for women, it's a big thing. I think all of us know about this debate, and policies aligned to the UN Millennium Development Goals. Recognized by Time magazine and Forbes magazine as one of the world's most influential women. And Madame Diogo continues to be a trusted voice in the leadership circles, offering expertise in development finance, governance, ESG leadership, and inclusive boardroom practices. And today, we have the privilege of spending time with her and having a conversation. I am thrilled. So thank you very much, Madame Luísa, for your time. So we're going to get right into it. I prepared a few questions, but as I said, we try and make this really just to let it flow, because conversations are rich and we don't want to doctor them, so to speak. So the first question that I have is that obviously your journey has been one that is marked with interesting things. And we want to hear about them. So in your early years, as you were forming, as you were getting into corporate, getting into government, etc., what were the values that inspired you by your family, by the community, that continue to shape you today?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank the organization of this gathering, women in the board, on the board. It is not an easy challenge because you had to start from having a motivation for that and then transform motivation into an idea and vision. And here we are together, talking, sharing experience, thanks to you guys that you had that idea. So I had no possibility of saying no when I received the invitation. I said, no. I have to go. So I had to fly Maputo to Joburg and be with you today. I'm a grandma of 4, and today is our day. It's the day of grandparents. So congratulations to those. The mother of 3 and the wife of a lawyer, also very courageous lawyer. And I was born in a farm, not in the house of a farm, but there where she was working with that short hoe, producing in 2 hectares of rice. So she was in the last week of her pregnancy, but she couldn't accept. You know, April is a month where the rice is mature and ready. She said, no, I'm not going to have a baby and then leave the rice there with the birds eating the rice and so on. I need to go there. So she went to the farm, but the farm was in a plateau in the mountain. When she was walking up, she was preparing herself to deliver. She didn't realize what she was doing. And when she arrived there, she started really having this pain and so on to have the baby. And it was a very isolated place. No one would be there. So she went to a bubble tree root and she prepared to deliver the girl. That was me. Wow. And she put that, what we call capulana, that material that women like to use, that I use it in Africa for everything, even for delivering. So she delivered the baby. And she said the only problem that she had in her mind was a snake that used to go around in the farm. So she was afraid of that. That's the only thing. The rest, she said, it was my 3rd pregnancy. And when I felt it was the time, I had 2 alternatives. One was to stay there and cry. The other alternative would be to deliver. So she had only 2 alternatives. And she went for the other. She said, I'm not a woman to go for the alternative of staying and crying, sitting there and crying and crying. No. I went to solve the problem. And the solution was to deliver the baby. And she knew that by 4 to 5 p.m., a leader of the community will be passing by with a bike. And she hear around 4, kick, the bike. She said, it's coming. And she called the guy. And the guy was hearing something saying, he said, is it a goat? What's going on there? He didn't approach by respect.
Right.
He ran to the hospital where my father was, because my father was a nurse, and he told the nurse, your wife bought a goat, but I think she needs help to bring that goat. And my father looked at him and smiled. He said, okay, because you know that I would ask you, how do you know that there is a baby there? So you went there to see my wife in those very complicated circumstances. So he accepted that message the way how it came, but he understood the problem. So he took his emergency bag and we went there and we returned home happy forever. So, so that was my inspiration for all my life. Yeah. And I'm so connected to my mother that every day I learn from her. Now she turned 90 years old this year. Oh. Yeah, she's very tough. She commands everyone. I remember once we went to the cemetery to put flowers for my father, and I was Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance and Planning with all those bodyguards and the convoy. And my sister was a Minister of Labor. And my brother was a cardiologist, surgeon.
Yes.
And she said, "Where are you going now?" We said, "Well, we are going to your house." He said, "No, no, 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 no. Don't come to my house at this time. Now it's around 11. I'm not ready. Go to your house." So my bodyguard said, "She's talking to you like that, man." I said, "Yes, she's talking to me like that." And you couldn't believe it. Look to me and say, "How can she accept that?" Because she knew me. I would never accept someone talking to me like that. But the only person that will talk to me like that is my mother. So I worked with her in the farms that she had, small ones, 2-3 hectares all together, and so on. We are very connected. And during this farm work, she'll say, "Study hard and work hard to be somebody." I said, "But I'm nothing." She's saying to be somebody. I'm not somebody. So that was the message, to say you have to be someone that will be a reference and help the others to improve the situation and so on. And she was a daughter of one teacher, and my grandfather select the boys, go to the school and continue, and my mother did only the primary school. She did 4 years of education. He said, "You wait to get married. That's your life. You are a woman." And she never accepted that. She said, "I don't want you to have the same problem as I had." And she had a husband that would treat the girls and the boys the same manner, give opportunities to all of us. So we grew inspired by gender equality. And I would do everything where I was leading to ensure that women will get things done. So my inspiration was that values of honesty,
Right.
integrity, hardworking, work for motivation. We cannot be working in a place because you have to work and stay there. You have to be motivated. If you are not motivated, move. Move while it's time. Because it will be a moment where you will have to move, but will not be ready for anything. So ask it yourself, am I motivated what I'm doing? When you are motivated, you have all the energy, all the capacity, and you try to get the capacity to do whatever you have to do. So that's why I did all this my career, being motivated in what I was doing. Difficult things like forgiveness of debt for Mozambique, negotiations for financing the country, and do reforms and transformation. My mother she was motivated to do changes and transformation in her life. She was leading in shadow. So we had to build a house, and she would call all the kids to go to the river and bring the sand in order to build the house. She was educating the kids by doing business to get the kids, all the kids educated, girls and boys, and also the other boys and girls of the brother or sister of her husband. So she really inspired me very much, and those values of integrity and hard working were always my inspiration to do whatever was necessary and have motivation. And I did everything very happy, enjoying everything. I'll wake up in the morning, 4 a.m., because I was enjoying what I was doing. And then run with my two dogs. I had two very famous German Shepherd. And everyone who knew me, I would never call the security. I would go with those two, very well trained, 4 o'clock in the morning, and come back around 5, 8 kilometers of running, and be ready, energized for starting the day. And I'll be in the office 7 a.m. because the only time that I would have to concentrate will be between 7 and around 9. Because after 9, I'm given to the people. So you don't have time to think, to strategize, and to see whatever it's delayed, to look to the matrix, you alone, before you meet your collaborators. And I will have the other time at the end of the day between 5 and 8. So that will be the time to close the day alone also, and to make perspective about yesterday, the following day. And I will own my diary and define each day of the year what to be done. So I'll be going to the meetings where I felt it's something I'll get from there. I'll never go to meet just to go. So I select meetings for Minister of Finance and meetings for the Prime Minister, and then to see what are the holes that will remain, and see 1 or 2 cases where I'll go or I will delegate to my people. And I'll never accept an invitation of less than a week, because it's not your trip. It's someone else that at last minute said no. So that's why who we are going to find out and so on. Madame Diogo, okay, bring Madame Diogo. No. Start receiving the invitation on time, like 6 months, 4 months, and that's the minimum. And then organize, put in your diary, and advance. And list the key stakeholders, the ones that you are obliged to be with them in a weekly basis, and the one that you are obliged to be with them in a monthly basis, and the ones that you need to be with them in a 3-month basis, in a quarter basis, and then put in the diary. And don't give up easily, because it can happen to give up. It's an exception, because life is made by exceptions also. Exactly. But your rule should be a rule of following your diary. Negotiate your PA with your PAs. If you have 2 PAs, like I have, you negotiate with both of them. You say, please allow me to be there and there during this year. And you give them at least 1 or 2 days per week, so she can manage and bring 1, 3, or 4 proposals to be placed in your diary. And when you select the stakeholders, you see the importance, you see for what you have them as important, and you can exercise your leadership in the house, looking to the importance of things that you are doing. Delegate. Delegation requires prepared people. And my mother teach me also, each one of us in the house had that responsibility. I will go with her to the farm, because she said, Luísa, she likes to farm. I didn't like it at all. I went with her because it was my duty, the obligation. Who likes to farm with that? No one. No one. But I'll go with her, and she'll have no complaints. And that's why Luísa come. And I use that opportunity to get the maximum from her, and the advices and everything. And think why you say that I'm nobody. And she starts explaining what happened to her. And now I am here, I'm working with you, I'm preparing the future of my kids and so on. But I'm not feeling that I'm that person that I would like to be. I feel that I'm still nobody. I don't want you to feel the same. And I was inspired for that to work. So, and all the values and so on, wow. It came from my parents.
Madame Luísa, let me tell you, it's just great that we're recording this, because I feel like I need to play back, from what you've said. There's discipline, there's integrity, there's questioning, there's so much of it. So obviously, there would have been some challenges. How did you navigate those? Did you challenge your mother? Did you challenge your siblings? Did you challenge the people in government? Did you challenge corporate? How did you navigate that? Because in any journey, be it social, academic, whatever, there's always challenges. And I think the answer is somewhere around, well, how you respond to it. What are the tricks? Like, how do you deal with the challenges without throwing the cat out?
There are so many challenges. One of the first challenge, it's yourself. That's the major challenge that you have. Yeah, you have to win.
To win
Yourself.
as yourself, like
Win yourself.
so.
Because that yourself, that inner is saying, you're not capable.
Right,
Careful.
right. So you have to
Win
win
it.
the inner battle inside
Yes.
of you. Okay.
Inside of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm capable. I can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Why that one is doing? Why that man is doing? Because in my time, we had not so many role models. We had some. But some of the role models are way problematic. They're imitating men. Here's a prime minister tried to see a woman prime minister, or Margaret Thatcher. I said, but so you have to be authentic.
Yes.
Yeah. Win yourself and but be authentic. It's the best tool that you have, authenticity. Never forget where you're coming from. And don't be afraid of showing who you are. And when I used to go to abroad, I said, no, there is doubt about my race. Let me make it so clear that I'm Black. And I will show my bread. And no one will have doubts about my, yeah. So to be equal with the others.
Right.
So that was the major challenge, myself. Second challenge, convince the others that you are capable. Second challenge, yeah. Men are easy to convince because they look for capacity, competence, hardworking, and someone that when they challenge, they lose in that challenge. So when they lose, men are very incredible. You can say whatever you say, yes, you are right. Yeah. Because they already trusted you.
Right.
Women are more difficult because of many things. First, can I trust a woman on this to be leading us? Because there's no long history for us, but you guys, you have got history. You have cases of models that have succeeded. In our case, it was not easy to convince a woman that you can do it. And when they are convinced, or they support you, or they have a complex of minority. They support you, they are with you, and they go with you. But when they have the complex of minority, it's a very serious problem. And what is the complex of minority? Is that complex that says you are not allowed to be in minority. If you have a chair that is a woman, you are not, we have this perception. They don't say, but we have this perception that the CEO will not be a woman. So let's keep it only that chair. We are wasting our time to try to fight to have a woman that is CEO. If the chair, the CEO is a woman, you have that feeling that it's in the subconscious. And are we allowed to have a COO that is a woman? No. So you not have that support for that position because there is already a woman that is CEO. We have to win that. And how we win? Those that are leading, put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women, combative, competent, have to be very competent. My mother taught me also about excellence. Excellence. to work with quality, to be excellent. And that's why with my 7 years old, I will run to the school, and in the way to the school, there was a provincial directorate of finance. And I would enter in that building. At that time, with my 7 to 8 years old, the stairs were so long and big and so on. I would imagine myself working there, just working. And the guard of the house would say, no, 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 go out, 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 out. And I'll look to him and say, one day I'll come and lead this. 7 to 8 years old. And when I became Minister of Finance, I visit the place. And when I arrived there, the stairs were so small. And when I was walking up and the stairs, and I stopped, and people didn't understand. My bodyguards and the people director of finance was there receiving me, and I will look around and say, I am leading this, not as a director of finance, not as a deputy director or national director, but as a minister of planning and finance.
Wonderful.
So I said, let's go in. I told them, let's go in. But they never imagined what was in my head that day. Yeah. So dream about what you want to do. You are allowed to dream. Yeah. They are not obliged to be always where you are. So the second challenge is this minority feeling of not being allowed to be in majority. And say, we are so many women here. We have to be careful. Try to mix up with some men. We are so many. A lady, we were in a summit where the presidents were 12 in that summit, in a panel. 12 president men. And we were down there, some women and so on. And when we entered in a second panel, she said, hey, so many women. And there were only 5. So many women. They should have mixed with a man. Even here, the way how we are sitting, Madame Diogo, I think we should mix a little bit. So no, we are fine.
Yeah.
We are fine. We are fine. But we have to be careful. Those guys will kill us in terms of career.
Wow.
Don't show that you are in the majority. No, show that you are in majority. You are strong enough and work together.
So this concept of the fear of being in the minority, I just need you to elaborate on it, because what should you do apart from conquering? You said you conquer yourself, so you say I'm capable, and then you're competent, but that still lingers. You still feel, well, I'm in the boardroom, and this happens even now, Madame Luísa. Most women who are serving on boards, the statistics are that they're still in the minority. So how must they get over that challenge?
Specific moments. There are many moments. The moment of renewing the board, you raise the question. How many candidates? Where are the candidates? And look for the best in terms of women. That's why it's so important to have network. Because we know Judith has this career, she has done that and that and that, and all these ladies. Punky has these characteristics and she's an expert on this and that. And then when it's time, please put forward those names. It has to be those that will really win. They come strong. Make the mix different races. Because you have many tendencies. Some prefer that race, the others prefer the other race, and the other race. You have everyone available. Here you just choose it. And you look also to the balance of the institution. You look to the figures. One of the things that I learned in my career is that we women, when we talk, we have to have figures. That's why when we speak, you don't need to be around the bush. You go around the bush when you don't have figures. When you don't have data, you go around the bush. Because you don't. When you don't figure, you just start in discussion.
Yeah.
Because the figure talks.
Numbers don't lie.
When the figure comes, you say, oh. You feel in the room, wow. So you have resolved all the problems that they have. And they don't expect you as a woman to come with figures and data, because they create a perception that women are not for figures, are not for math.
Right.
And then later on, they discovered that the math was being delivered to the students in a very male way. That's why women didn't like it. But now things are being clear, and the women are being stimulated to advance on figures, numbers, and so on. And you get an institution where the honesty, productivity, hard working, dedication is there. Because we have our own nature, our own characteristics, and historically, we have been very careful in what we do. Because we've been working in the shadow in the house. And when you work in the shadow, you have to be very influential to get things done. And I learned to work in the shadow to make changes with my grandma, woman also, because my grandfather was a leader of the community. And you receive people coming, problem with my husband, and problem with my wife, and then he stole my cat and so my cattle and so on, so on. And you say, I'm going to sleep over this issue, and tomorrow I'll come with the solution. So please, mom, calling the wife, please organize that house, because there are many houses to see people. That second one house for this couple. And during the night, my grandma will say, that problem you solve like this and that and that and that. And that problem solved like this and that. And that's very, very wise, no? Yeah. And the following day, when he will be sitting there, and people will come again. And they'll say, I slept on your case. Your case is very problematic. Actually, he was the one responsible for not sleeping yesterday. But and my grandma will be serving water and so on in the shadow. And when he was delivering the solutions, people will for him. Yeah. For him. Say, you are happy with the solution. Okay. And they will say, okay, I have brought this chicken for the family. Said, mom, come and pick this noisy. There's a noisy girl. And when it was a couple, a cattle, you say, we have one animal here. And you call a man to take it. So my grandmother was very influential. So that's why Time magazine classified me as a very influential person, not the most powerful, but influential.
Right.
Because of the influence that I will do in governance, in parliament, in my ministry, with the colleagues and so on, to change things and transform the economy.
That's a very powerful point there around influence, Madame Luísa. So are you saying that, for example, in the boardroom, is it more important to be influential than to be heard, or to be perceived to be the one that's speaking all the time, being more visible? Are you putting more value to leading from behind? What are you saying?
I'm balancing.
Right.
Because to be good in boardroom is not to be noisy. Yeah, there are some that are so noisy. Yeah, and sometimes you want to say something, you say, oh, two women were already spoken and they were so noisy. It's better to leave as it is. Yeah, because you have to balance. And ask for the floor when you have new point or additional point, or you want to close one or two issues, or you want to recognize the executive. Because sometimes we board members, we forget that the executive work hard to prepare the documents. And we ask for the floor directly criticizing. No. Pay value to the work done. And when people work, they like to be recognized. And they become more open to your proposals. Because you say you have done this and that, this is a very good innovation and so on, so on, so on. And I think to complement this, you could do that and that and that and that.
Right.
And they are very receptive and they will do. Otherwise, you are noisy and they will just sit and listen you or pretend that they are listening. And you can see the faces. Yeah. You can see the faces, Punky. Yeah. You can see the faces. You say, yeah, I'm going to the bush. Yeah. They are not because when you go to the bush, they don't go with you. You go to the bush. They need to go with you. You go around. And so come back to the way they are and start working again with them. Work with them. Start from where they are, what they've done, what they've prepared, because they have collegial meetings also like yours, and very based on the reality of the facts and the reality of the house, the reality of the economy, whatever, where they are working. And based on that, you come with your theoretical contribution because you are not there in the reality. So balancing, it's important. And ask for the flow when it's necessary. When it's not necessary, a very good contribution also is listening. The best communicator is the one that knows how to listen. Yeah. And listen, and when it's necessary, you say something. Sometimes you can say nothing during the board meeting. They know your value. But sometimes you just feel there is one or another point. That means a small number of points, meaning that 80% of what you would like to say, it's done in the document that is being presented. So you put the 20% or 10% of what you would like to say.
That's wonderful. So we normally ask the audience to come in and ask questions. Is there anyone that has got a burning question to ask, Madame Luísa? No one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the first taking notes and writing. I think the question I have is when I listen to a lot of influential people like yourself, you've got an amazing background. You know, you talk about your mom, you talk about how your mother influenced you. But I know that there's different realities for other people. You know, others might have not had the privilege of having such amazing role models, you know, growing up. And how would you then encourage, you know, those people to take from, I don't know, from the environment or wherever they can take to sort of get the inspiration that you've had to be the wind beneath your wings?
This is a very good question. You know, one of the challenges that I had, that's why I said so many, I picked one or two only,
That's
but
right.
there is so many. One of the challenges that I had, and I know that every one of you have had that challenge to a certain point of your life, is how to handle the balance between the house, family, and the work. And my problem was, I'll never had, you know, I spent a lot of time of my life without having a very good help at home. And I learned in that exercise that one of the things that the professional women need to do is that when you start feeling that you are doing real career, you have to move and move fast. Because to make a distance with the rest, you have to run fast. Yeah. Run fast. Make a distance, not be close. Distance. And to make a distance, you need to have a balanced house. You cannot be in the job and thinking, now I have to go and pick in school. Now I have to go to be. No. At a certain moment in my third child, only at my third child, I found the solution. Why? Because someone told me that when you have problems, ask for support. So in this case, you ask for support. You can have mentorship because you have a network. Don't have that complex of not knowing a solution. Ask for solutions and they will come. You know, I did like this, and I did like this, and I did like this, and you pick the one that you feel. Even in terms of developing your career, you ask for help. So I asked for help. How did I ask for help? I said, Mother, I am having very serious problems. I said, go to your village. Go to a village. Because here in the city, you don't have serious women that will stay at home with your kids. Go to the village and then put her in an adult education. If you want a woman that knows how to write, how to make accounts and so on, that basic ones to be with the kids. Bring the lady and put someone teaching her because she can't leave the house to go to somewhere to study. And I solved my problem. And she is with me now around 30 years. Yeah. So I have the others and so on, but in my heart, I know who is the one. She's the one leading the team. Yeah. So I found the solution. So I would wake up at 4 and go, blah, 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 blah. All these things, 7 o'clock, arriving at 8, blah, 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 because I had that lady.
That's
And
brilliant.
in terms of career, when I was nominated to each position, I learned also to call those references that you know in your area. Because there's always a reference.
Yes.
So pick the phone and call. I'm Luísa Diogo, you know, I have been assigned in the position as a Minister of Finance. I know that you are a very good Minister of Finance, or you are a very good Minister of Finance. Please, I need some fun. Don't ask for 3 tips, ask for 5.
Okay.
I need 5 tips, and they will give you the tips. And then you call another one, and then another one. And you have 15 tips, and you select the ones that you feel that fits for you. And you
Absolutely.
advance in your program of career development by having that in mindset. The rest you study and so on, and you work with the colleagues and you complement each other capacity and so on. Because when you work in a collegial form and with a team, you share and you grow with the team. If you are leading, you grow by making those growing because you need to delegate. And you cannot delegate to someone that is not prepared. So invest in your people in order to delegate.
That's brilliant. We actually had a question from Agnes online, and she said, how did you balance the household life and work challenges? So that's definitely been answered. Tabang, Gatong, says, how should one balance arrogance and confidence?
Yeah.
Sometimes people think they're displaying confidence, while to others it comes across as arrogance.
Yeah. It is very difficult to think when you have so much power. And sometimes it is a perception. And sometimes it's reality. So you have to sit. And I was doing that exercise every day. Am I being arrogant or they are being unjust? They are not perceiving me rightly. But assume that you are being. It's better. I'm being arrogant. I'm being arrogant. So what I learned, and it was by coincidence. I was talking in the parliament, and when we finished the meeting, people were very happy, clapping and so on. But when I went to make the balance, to debate
Right.
the results of the meeting, one of the directors, because one of the things that you have to do is to make them participating actively in the meeting and tell you the truth. There, outside. You say, you can talk here. If you don't feel confident on talking here, but please talk here. But if you don't feel confident, I'm available. Please come to my office. And when they start by saying, that thing went very well, challenge them. Why you are saying that it went well? I don't believe you. Could you put arguments on that? And they'll say, well, you know, Madame Diogo, there's only two things here that didn't went so well, but blah, blah, blah. And you say, those two things, which things were? And they start detailing. And you create a culture in your team of not being alone. Because to be not alone is not to have people. No. To be with others is to have the possibility of benefiting from them and them benefiting from you. And the only beneficial thing that you can get as someone that is exercising leadership is to hear the truth. Yeah. And well, we were doing that balance and so on. And I said, well, okay. And I said, well, director, one of the senior said, come to my office. I said, do you think that it went well? He said, well, it went well, Madame Diogo. But there's one thing I couldn't say there, but I can tell you now, because you have this opening way of leading. You were a little bit arrogant. And I said, how was the manifestation of arrogance? Because I was interested. My manifestation of arrogance, the way I talk, and what was the problem? I said, the way you use it, the jargon.
Right. Oh.
You use the jargon in the parliament. You are not allowed to use the jargon in the parliament. Because you don't have experts everywhere. Even in the boardroom. As an executive, you arrive in a boardroom, you cannot make a presumption that all the board members are experts on your area. Try to make it accessible, but not making vulgar and so on, but make it accessible. From that day on, all my speeches will be to the land. My interviews will be to the land. And people start really enjoying my governance. They really enjoy it. That when she comes, she talks, and it's very clear. Because she's not arrogant. So they perceive jargon as arrogancy. They perceive the voice. As a Minister of Finance, I didn't win that because the voice was, yeah. But yeah, it's not easy for some positions, but you have to have the conscience. That's very important. You have the conscience and try every day to improve.
Okay. So we don't have any further questions. Oh, we've got some questions in the room. There's lots. Over
Okay.
to you.
Oh, Madame Diego, I'm in awe. You are so inspiring. I am enthralled just listening to you. Thank you so much for being generous and sharing so many nuggets. You also, I love your value of excellence. And you come across as somebody who probably likes reading, who likes developing themselves and sharpening your tools of trade. If there's one book that you'd recommend on reading, that would be wonderful. Or also, how do you stay, like your responsibility is so vast, how do you stay on top of your game and just still be so humble about it? Because finance, public policy is not easy, but you seem so well-versed, you seem so knowledgeable, you uphold a value of excellence, but you make it seem like it's just something you were born with and just taking it in your stride. What nuggets would you share for us to continue to sharpen our tools of trade as well?
I enjoyed so much what I was doing that until now, I still reading the books related to finance. My last book was the illusion of growth, GDP growth. That is an indicator that will show you the poverty of the people, and it's false. You need other kind of indicators. So when we talk about the sustainable development, it has nothing to do with GDP. When we talk about the development index, doesn't care about the GDP. The GDP for us now it's being clear. It's like being in a room like this, and someone bring 10 breads, and you say you divide by all of us, and you say that everyone have got a part, specific part, it is average. It's false, because sometimes a small number of people gets the total amount of numbers of bread, and a big number will get nothing.
Right.
And you said the average of the bread that are distributed was half a bread or one bread for each in that classroom. But who told you that all the kids got the bread? And it's the same in a country. You say the country is producing this amount of money and wealth. So I was reading that book. The rest, what I've been reading, is about financial sector. I still learning a lot. Yeah, like the results of the bank and so on. Study and see reports on sustainable development. I enjoy to see how to balance with the needs of Africa and just transitions and so on. I look forward for the master class that she's going
Yeah,
to
we're
give.
all so excited to hear that. So we're going to take one question in the room and one online. You can go ahead.
Madam Luísa, I'm sitting with a lot of younger ladies, and I just wanted to ask, what is it that we should be doing when we are early in our careers? Because I know it's the time that's for a lot of listening and learning, but is there anything else that younger people should be doing?
Yeah. I feel that it's very clear in your mindset what you should be doing, more than what we had in our mindsets. The only thing that I will give you has a contribution is that they do not. Because they what to do very dynamic, and you know exactly what you want, and sometimes you ask for and so on. Congratulations, continue to be like that. But do not make shortcuts. Do not get the position in a very strange manner. Be transparent. Do not ask to move very fast. Warm up the position. I call to warm up. Warm up your chair. And when the chair is warm, you can take off. Because when the chair is not warm, you will try to jump and you return to that or lower chair. So no shortcuts, and follow what is required in the institution and your organization. Follow the rules. Don't be afraid of being very honest and exercising integrity, because sometimes you feel like a fish out of the water. Be different. Try to be different, really. Be honest. Exercise integrity. And when you feel that you are debating in boardrooms on, be innovative. Don't be afraid of proposing different things, because the transformational leadership is the one that is now being the best. Because in my time, you do the career and do things, have a confusion between to be a leader and to be a boss and to be someone with authority, confusing authority and leadership, and being called a leader while you are not exercising, because you are a leader only when the day and the hour that you are exercising leadership. There's no leader in the world. There is an exercise of leadership. And it has to be transformative, has to be adaptive, it has to be authentic, because it has to have roots where you're coming from, inspired, and keep you walking to that direction. So walk fast, but make the phases. Don't jump. Warm up the seat. Be patient, but look into the watch every day. And look to the watch working, because someone will see that you are honest. Doesn't seem, but they know you. One of the things that surprised me, I've never been approached for corruption. And my colleagues will say, you know, someone came and said, I said, no, I'm not part of that. I don't do that. But I said, but they don't approach me. Why? Because they know. They know you. Sometimes you don't know that they know you, but they know you. They know that you are not part of that club. They know that you will not never accept. So they never approach you. So I did all this, my career in finance and bank and so on. No one approached me. I said, my God, I know. They trust you.
Okay.
They know that when they knock your door, you are ready and available to say the truth. You be honest and use a such integrity. And it happens, what happened to me last week. We went to a place where the system of security is very tough. We had the camera, second line, third line of security, and then it would be in the office of the person. So we organized a meeting with her, it was a lady, and I don't know what happened. There was some problems on the communication. They didn't say my position, my former position. They said they just didn't, I don't know if they said the name or not, but the truth is that when I arrived there, my driver said, former Prime Minister Luísa Diogo. And the man understood former Prime Minister, said, what's that? Said, I have to go and consult to see the books and so on. So on. And my assistant that works with me every day said, it's Madame Luísa Diogo. Oh, Madame Luísa Diogo. Oh, yes. No. Because your name lasts. Because you have left legacy. The position, the title disappear. The title disappear. It's with time, you know, it makes an erosion, it appears in the air. But your work, your legacy stays. Yeah. So you have got very complicated way to go, because you are very well qualified now. You have many women that are succeeding and doing things, but you are very imaginative, very innovative. The kind of things that you do, it is amazing. So congratulations, new generation. So we see our dream coming true with you, and continue the way how you are doing it. But please do it in a very honest and integrated way to make it sustainable.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to take one last question from the participants online. I'm so sorry. We're running out of time, but we took a lot of time actually talking and advertising and all of this. But yeah, I wish we've learned something from that. So the last question is from Travosha, and she says it's a he or she, I'm not sure. The question is, how do you handle situations where women or minority peers act in ways that seem to undermine or oppose you while maintaining professionalism, not breaking the relationship, and supporting an inclusive environment? Undermining. So you're now, people are now undermining.
Exactly. You know what I decided to do? I know that it's not a general issue, but it was my secret of success also. Also say you're against me, but tell me, what kind of need you have? Would you like me to help you on something? So all the women have the right to approach and to talk to me, and I will try to give my humble contribution for her to succeed. Because if you start selecting the ones that are with you and you leave the others behind, it's very dangerous. So do you be surprised? You know, I was doing internal campaign against her, and now she's helping me. That woman is really, she's not normal. She's not normal. Because I said, I cannot start cultivating enemies. How can you do a career by cultivating enemies? Because when you select the ones that are against you, it's a number. Because you have a very good number that supports you, but you have also a number that does not support you. So bring them. You know that this one is not a lawyer, but she needs, and she has the right. She's not obliged to like me. So let me work with her. Try to do that and you will enjoy. Because the face will be surprised, saying, wow, she wants to help me. But I have not been the best person for her. So support the women independently of being aligned with you or not aligned with you. Sit with them and mix it with others. And sooner or later, she will be really part of the others, and she will be part of the process of moving forward. I had a very interesting situation when I was in Africa constituency meeting, where you have around 40, it was at that time, it was 43 countries or 42, because then we had 2 additional. So I arrived in the meeting. My first year as a Minister of Planning and Finance of Mozambique, very well respected and so on in Mozambique. And I told a lady, I said, well, where are the ministers? She looked at me, she said, you are not allowed to be in the minister's room. Please sit there. I said, actually, meet the Minister of Finance for Mozambique. It's a pleasure to meet you. And then she said, Minister of Finance. Oh, Minister of Finance. And I said, actually, who are you? I said, she said, I'm the one organizing the meeting and so on, so on. Tell me what I've been doing. And we were walking and so on, so on. And I was the preferred person of that lady at the end of the meeting. And when I arrived in the main room, they were having tea and coffee before the meeting. And I approached a group of ministers. You know that look. I think all of you. Morning. Morning. You know, brother, because there are no sisters there, brothers. You know, brother. And then I met, so you feel that, well, I'm nobody here. So you go to the second group and you take a cup of water because you have to take something. Morning. My name is. Morning. Brother. I said, no way. We sit down, no sitting for me, assign it. Because in an international meeting, you have to assign a seat, but name or country. No flag. So I said, where do I sit, sister? I said, oh, you sit there, back there. And I went there and I sat. I said, now they are going to know me. Yeah. You know, they start meeting, blah, 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 with the managing director of IMF and the president of World Bank, blah, 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 Frankfurt, you know, all the nationalities talking. And you see a man with that gray, you know, hair and yeah. ideas is, I could do better than him. Yeah. And another one talking around the bush. I could do better than him. And when you see the 50th person talking, you have the average of the room. You say, that's the average. Okay. Ask for the floor. Here, they don't see you. Here. Said, oh, somebody there is asking for the floor. Please take the microphone for her. It's her. Oh, yes. But this meeting is meeting ministers of finance. Oh, yes. I received the microphone. And don't go around the bush. Pick 3 or 5 points. Straight to the point. First point, ba. Trrr, ra, close. Second point, blah. Rrr, close. Third point, blah. Rrr, close. If it's 3 points. And that day I did 3 because I had to be shocked. Yeah. Finish. And then they start looking where you are. Yeah. And during the break, they come with the cards. Actually, I'm the Minister of Finance of this country, blah, 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 blah. Tell me, my sister, how did you do it? I said, you learn to call sisters. There are sisters here. Yeah.
Wow.
So you have to face all this. And then I think even now, still, these young people, they still have that. You don't? You still, yeah, you still have that. Not so much as we used to have, but you still have that problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Madame Luísa, it's so sad that we have to conclude. There's a comment that came from Anne online, and she says, Madame Luísa, it's time for another book. We would love to hear more from you.